Soraya Bastian here, and you are watching Beyond Breath TV, the place to be to overcome your husband's infidelity and create a beautiful marriage. Today I want to talk to you about a specific word that sends shivers down my spine. A word that may be taboo or unheard of in your family or religion, but a word that seems to be on the tip of your tongue and in the back of every thought after you find out about your husband's infidelity. Are you ready for it? Divorce. According to a survey done in 2021 by the American Psychological Association, anywhere between 20 to 40% of divorces were linked to infidelity. Isn't that terrible? I'm sure on the day you said, "I do," you never thought you'd have to worry about the possibility of one day getting divorced because your husband decided to be unfaithful. But now that your greatest nightmare has come true, with the knowledge that your husband has cheated without your conscious permission, your mind automatically starts dividing the assets. What he'll take and what you'll take. You automatically start thinking about where you'll live and how you will be able to financially support yourself. You automatically start wondering what others will think about you if you don't leave, and how they might look down on you if you simply stick around and try to make it work. You automatically begin fretting about the children and how this will confuse them, who they will be with on what holiday, and how it will break their heart. And you automatically hate the idea of another woman being brought into their lives and taking over, even in the smallest way, your role as mother if he ever remarried. But on the exact same brainwave, you are arguing that you don't want to divide your things. They're your things, our things. And you've worked hard in whatever way you have to contribute to your belongings. On the exact same brainwave, you are fearing the extreme responsibility of having to support yourself and your children on your own. How will you ever do that? On the exact same brainwave, you're panicking at the idea that your family and friends might find out that your husband has been unfaithful and fear what they will think about you, as if it's somehow your fault and you've done something that led him to that decision. And on the exact same brainwave, there's no way you could ever do this to your children. This is your family, and you will do anything to not break it up. And you will do anything to not expose them to the possibility of another woman entering their lives. This chaos will take you back and forth over and over for days, weeks, years, and decades. And it's not that I can tell the future. I speak from the personal experience of living on the emotional roller coaster of should I stay or should I go? Where life is good, or you think it's good. Your husband is following through with your requests from your last conversation, but also there's a wariness, a caution that keeps you from fully enjoying this moment. Because when is the next shoe going to drop? Then he does something to upset you, like maybe he didn't want to have sex last night. And in turn, he rebroke your heart and your confidence. And now you feel like you need to back off and that you're a fool for ever thinking this is going to work and you should have left years ago. But then he apologizes and you have another conversation, and this time you have really high hopes that he heard you, that you finally got through to him, and that this time he'll change. So you both recommit, and fingers crossed, it works. But then he didn't tell you he would be home late from work, and as he's gone missing for those couple of minutes when he should have been home, your mind starts filling in all the blanks of where he is, who he's with, and what he's doing. And by the time he gets home, all trust is lost, and the energy that you have been putting into every single day for the last X amount of years has been wasted because he is still the same person. You think you should have divorced years ago. He is never going to change. My client, Patty, rode on the emotional roller coaster of her marriage for years. She would get to a point where she was done with the marriage, ready to pull the plug. She would feel fed up and would decide she couldn't take it anymore. She reclaimed that she would have unconsciously gathered a list of things that her husband had been doing or not doing. Like she was keeping a tally of his every move. She would point a finger at his every flaw. And then she would explain to him she was done and wanted a divorce. But during the extent of the conversation, she would settle down as he would apologize, beg her to try again, and come up with a new plan that was bound to work. Following the conversations, she would feel a confusion of emotion. She felt excitement, like maybe this time change would fully, truly happen. She had high hopes that maybe this would be the time their marriage would make a huge shift. Maybe this time he would actually change. And also, she felt fear. Did she just let him walk all over her again? And she felt powerlessness. Why didn't she have the strength to follow through with what she thought she wanted? She rode the ups and downs of this pattern over and over for years. But one day, during one of our group coaching sessions, Patty shared with us a new shift she'd come to understand. She had been putting in the deep internal work of clearing her emotional trauma. She had intentionally been creating the skills within herself to truly build a foundation of strength, of trust for herself, as she was seeing things clearly. And she had been applying the tangible tools to connect with her husband that honored the truth of her reality, where she truly was. She expressed to us that she had come to the realization that her marriage was over. She told us that she was so proud of herself because she wasn't questioning this decision. She wasn't frantic in the decision, and she wasn't coming to this decision because he had done or hadn't done any one thing. She presented to the group that she was ready for a divorce because she had changed. I know the ending of this story may feel a little disheartening to you. The last thing you want is for your marriage to end, which is why you are still fighting for it. So let me clarify something for you. Most women end up getting divorced after infidelity because he hasn't changed. All of the years, effort, and energy they have put into their marriage has been with the hopes that he will make the change. If he does change, well, then their marriage is saved. If he doesn't, then the ending of their marriage is all his fault. But it's not simply that easy, and that's not simply true. Divorce is not the answer after infidelity if the reason for your conclusion is that he hasn't changed. Because what happens is you take the anger, the resentment, the pointed finger, you take the hardened heart, the disappointment, the feeling of not being good enough. You take the what ifs, the worry that maybe you called it quits too soon, the wonder that maybe he'll change for someone else with you into your life. If divorce is going to be your final answer after infidelity, my encouragement to you is to come to that conclusion with peace behind your answer. One of the things I live by is if an answer is made in fear, the other side of that answer is fear. And if an answer is made in peace, the other side of that answer will be peace. I know this situation is not ideal for you. I know you would have never chosen this. But the truth is, here you are. So let me give you the details of what it is that needs to happen in order for you to find what Patty did. First, you have to clear your emotional trauma. Emotional trauma is the result of events that leave you feeling unsafe and helpless. Symptoms of emotional trauma on the physical body can be lethargy, poor concentration, panic attacks, insomnia, nightmares, and the inability to cope in certain situations. Symptoms of emotional trauma on the emotional body can be a persistent feeling of unsafety. And symptoms of emotional trauma on the mind can include exhaustion, confusion, sadness, dissociation, and anxiety. By clearing your emotional trauma, the energy you are using to merely make it through your day is revived. Because of your renewed ability to sleep, you also receive the gift of clarity, discernment, and comprehension. This is why this is the first step that has to happen in order for you to be able to come to the conclusion that divorce is the right step to take. Following the clearing of your emotional trauma is the need to create the sustainable skills to maintain composure of your thoughts, your feelings, and your reactions so that you can rebuild trust. After living in a state of hypervigilance, anxiety, overthinking, rage, and overreacting, depression, and clinging to security for however long you've been in this position, those fine motor skills are very strong. When it comes to building a new way of thinking, feeling, and responding to your life, you have to create a new set of fine motor skills that are strengthened by balance and equilibrium. A place where the alarm can be turned off and your body can reset the high levels of energy and they can subside to rebuild trust. And finally, only when you are connected to yourself in this new way can you begin to connect to your husband. This last piece is vital, regardless if you are sure you want your marriage or not. If you are trying to come to the conclusion of divorce, inside or outside of your marriage, you want to be this person, the person I described. If you are going to give your marriage a fighting chance, you can't bring all of your fears, worries, overthinking, and overreacting with you. By practicing connecting in your relationship, even if your husband isn't on board or you aren't sure he's still talking to her, you gain more clarity and understanding so that you can come to the conclusion, yes, our marriage will work. We are building something new. I am not the same and he is not the same. Or no, our marriage will not work and I know that because I have changed. I have intentionally stepped into my marriage and offer wholeness and connection on a brand new level, honoring myself and the relationship I want. And I have now outgrown this marriage. By doing the work in this way, your heart stays open. You do not take with you the anger, resentment, or blame. You do not take with you the hardened heart, the disappointment, and the feeling of not being good enough. And you don't take with you the what ifs, the worries that maybe you called it quits too soon, or the wonder that maybe he'll change for someone else. Because the change has come from you, and now you know. Can you feel the freedom behind this? Can you feel the peace behind this decision? It doesn't mean there won't be heartache. It doesn't mean that there won't be hard times or challenges. But what it means at the end of the day, that you were powerful and confident in the decision that you made to move forward in your life, and that you have you back. And if that is what you are taking with you, that's everything. Divorce isn't always the answer after infidelity, but when it is, it can be a peaceful, expanding decision. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you wrestled with the idea of whether or not divorce is the right decision for you after your husband's infidelity? If your answer is yes, tell me in the comments. And do you feel stuck with 1 foot in and 1 foot out? Not really in your marriage and confused on how to move forward? If your answer is yes, then I invite you to watch my free masterclass where I teach you the specifics of what I'm speaking about here. All you have to do is head over to sorayabastian.com and subscribe to become a Beyond Breath Insider. This is where you'll gain instant access to an awesome training where I share the secrets to creating a marriage full of passion, intimacy, and excitement after your husband's infidelity, as well as some exclusive content, some special giveaways, and some updates from me that I don't share with anybody else. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this spoke to you and gave you some hope and clarity in your ability to be able to move beyond this place of feeling so stuck. The decision isn't one that you want to make, but I promise you are not serving anybody living in the state that you are, and that life can be freeing, beautiful, and everything you want it to be. I would love to show you how. I love you. Bye-bye.